It's 10 o'clock and it's time for the council in session. Will the council members please come to the council chamber? Cantor, Mr. Holden, Mr. Padilla, Mr. Ridley Thomas, will you please come to the council chamber?
The cameras are here for the ones.
You have Fernando do that first. No.
Okay.
Could we have your attention, please? Call the roll.
Burnson, Chick, Fury, Delanter, Gilbert, Hernandez, Holden, Wiskowski, Pacheco, Padilla, Ridley Thomas, Dornschlag, Folters, Ferraro, 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Will everybody be seated that's not involved with the council's meeting? This is a meeting of the City Council for the City of Los Angeles on the 21st day of November, the year 2000. There are 15 council districts in the city. The regular meeting days are Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We are currently being viewed by cable subscribers throughout the Los Angeles area on Channel 35, and we're also being monitored by council phone. First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
If there's no objection, unanimous vote.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
If there's no objection, unanimous vote.
Mr. President, there's a few items to be continued on today's regular agenda. Item number 14, a request by Los Angeles Housing Department and Council District 1 to continue that matter till January 3rd, 2001.
If there's no objection, unanimous vote.
Item number 15, a request by Council District 15 to continue that matter till May 22nd.
If there's no objection, unanimous vote.
Items number 16 through 19, a request by Council District 8 to continue those matters till December 1st.
If there's no objection, unanimous vote.
Items number 20 and 21, Council District 1 and the Los Angeles Housing Department indicate that the funds have been returned, so these matters may be received and filed. Items 20 and 21.
Items 20 and 21, receive and file. If there's no objections, unanimous vote.
Mr. President, item number 1 is item...
Mr. President, before you do that, I've just been informed that the item on Special Order 40, number 28, the report is not ready, and they've asked for a day continuance, so I will request that on behalf of the LAPD.
Item 40 on the...
It's actually an item 28 regarding Special Order 40. Be continued till tomorrow.
That is on 28 today.
Yes, on 28 on today's...
Is there any
schedule.
objections to that? Continue 28 one day? Seeing none, that will be the order. Next item.
Item number 1 is a public hearing item.
Is there anybody in the audience who wants to be heard on item number 1? We have no cards. Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Any discussion on item number 1? If not, prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That is approved. Next item.
Mr. President, items number 2 through 13 on the regular agendas are items for which public hearings have been held. Motions are required on 2, 8, and 9, inasmuch as there are more than one report on each file.
These hearings have been held?
Yes, 2 through 13.
Okay, we have somebody on 2 and, or rather 3 and 11. We'll call those special. They're special anyway. Yeah. It's against the proposal.
Oh, there is a card, okay.
Any special by council
Yeah, no,
members?
it was, I think it's fine. It'll be okay. Mr. President?
Number 9, please.
Oh, yeah.
9, call special. Four is called special.
Mr. President, we have
Yeah,
public
President
hearings on item number 3 in both Transportation Committee, the Taxi Cab Committee, and...
We call
If there's a
that-
council members that wish to speak, that's a different story.
We have a card on that, on 3.
We've had hearings.
Okay, well, then we won't have hearings. We have special 2, 8, 9, 11, we have a card, but again, nobody's recommended a public hearing.
Mr. President, item number 11, I've just received an amending motion by Councilmember Burnson.
We'll call it special. Okay. Okay, prepare the roll on 2, 3, 4.
Mr. President, on 2, we're moving
4,
2B.
Mr. Ridley Thomas, you want 4?
It's Ridley Thomas, 4. Yes.
Okay.
We have 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. There's 2 files on
2B, please, Mr. President?
2B, on 8,
No, on 2, on 2B.
2B. And what about 8? We have 2 files on that, and on number 9.
Oh, there are 2
9
files?
is called special.
On 8?
We'll call 8 special. So let's go over it again.
Item number 2, Mr. Fuhr moved 2B. Item number 3 is before you. Item number 5, 6, 7, 10, 12, and 13.
Three has amendment.
Those are the items we're currently voting on, not the items called special. Called special so far are numbers 4, 8, 9, and 11.
We better call 3 special.
Do we have to?
Tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
Those are approved. Next item.
Mr. President, item number 25, Councilmember Miskowski wishes to have this item withdrawn from the agenda and referred to Public Safety Committee. Item 25.
If there's no objections, item 25 will be referred to committee. Next item.
Items number 15, items number 22 through 37 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 25 has been acted on, as well as 28. I understand there's a amending motion for 31B.
Let's see what we have here first. We have 16, which has been continued, so those here on 16, the matter has been continued. Those on 16, 17, 18, 19, they have been continued. Anybody want to be heard on any of those items? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Ms. Goldberg, what do you want to,
20 at the same time because they relate to the same subject matter.
22 is called special. Any other specials?
Mr. President? 24 merely for the purpose of recusing myself, so I have no questions on it.
On which one? Huh? Which, is that it? Is that 30?
Yeah,
I have to excuse myself
Okay.
too.
But
That's
no
on
questions.
24?
24.
Okay. Okay. Conrad, let's go over the,
Okay, so item number 22 is called special. 23 is before you. 26, 27 are
no,
before
24 is called special too.
Yes. The specials in that grouping are 22, 24. The matters to be voted on are 23, 26, 27, 29 through 37. I understand there's an amending motion on 31 that I have not received yet.
We'll
You would-
call it special. Okay, prepare the roll on those items. Tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
Those are approved. $23. Is that before the secession of San Pedro? 2B. There's two files on one. There's 2 files on one.
Oh, 2 reports, okay.
Okay, next item.
Item 39 is listed on the agenda as a closed session item. The city attorney has opined that number 39 may go forward in open session.
Is there any discussion on 39? We have a motion to approve. If not, prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved.
Mr. President, items number 40 and 41 on the supplemental agenda are items for which public hearings have not been held. There is an amending motion on 41, which has been circulated.
Here, Jeff. Do these while you're at it. Just stay after them, they can circulate.
Okay, we have 40 and 41. 40 and 41.
40 and 41 are currently before you. 41 has an amending motion that has been circulated.
It has been circulated?
Yes, Mr. Pacheco.
Okay. We have 40 and 41 before us. 41 has been amended.
We're taking both of them or together?
Sir. Mr. President,
It's out, Jeff.
working with the CLA's office, we cleaned up the language on 41 and moved to substitute 41A. It should be 41A that's been circulated
Yeah.
in place of 41.
Okay. We have 40 and 41 as amended. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Those are
President?
forthwith on 40.
Mr. President, if there are no cards, the CED committee meeting on 8 can be moved and voted on if there are no cards.
Well, we have two on one file.
Yeah, CED and,
Okay, prepare the roll.
and we'll
Tabulate the vote. That is
12 ayes.
forthwith, please.
approved forthwith.
Forthwith on number 41, Mr. President? On 41, forthwith?
Forthwith on 41. Next item.
Yeah, Mr. President, on item 14, we don't need to continue item 14. We checked with the Housing Department. They said they weren't able to get to the clerk, but we'd like that to be removed from REAP.
Removed from,
Right.
all right. Mike Hernandez reconsiders 14,
14.
and the matter is before us, and he wants to receive and file.
No, it's supposed to be removed from REAP. That was what,
from REAP?
yeah, Housing had asked initially for it to be continued, but they checked it out. They said it should be removed.
Okay, prepare the roll on the removal. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Next item.
Mr. President, item number 3 called special is an ordinance with an amending motion.
I think we moved ahead on that because no one moved to public hearing. Huh? Nobody moved to public hearing. There was a public hearing. Mr. Silvani said there's a public hearing in the committee. Huh?
Okay, I don't believe I got the amendment before we considered it the first time. So now it's moved as amended. Okay.
Okay, item number 3 is the move as amended.
Had a question on item 3?
Go, Mr. Fiore.
Yeah, thanks. I'd like to actually ask the city attorney to come forward, please, on this. If Shelley's around? Oh, I see, okay. I'll let you get settled in for a second. My basic question is this. It's been argued that there is a consent judgment that requires the city to have engaged in make certain findings in advance of issuing an RFP pursuant to which this award would be made. And I want to know whether that argument has merit, and if not, why not, and make a decision based on your answer.
Thank you. Shelley Smith, Assistant City Attorney representing the Department of Transportation. Councilman Fuhrer, we believe the argument does not have merit in the first place because all of the appropriate and specific findings which would give rise to the issuance of this request for proposal and this new regulatory framework were in fact made in a series of public hearings over 2 years in which all of the incumbents and all of the would-be franchisees participated fully. Secondly, we do not believe that consent decree in fact applies to this particular request for proposal, but in any event, if it did, we believe that the department and the city is in complete compliance with it.
How, just so I'm clear, how can there be an open question as to whether the findings were actually made? I mean, your point is, irrespective of whether the judgment applies, the findings were made.
That's
Isn't that
true.
a basic matter of fact?
I believe so, and I believe that the record as a whole, if challenged subsequently in court, will very adequately demonstrate that those findings were made.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President.
We're,
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't have any questions of this individual. I did want to ask a little bit about the franchise changes involving United Independent Drivers gains 8 authority vehicles. Is there someone here I can ask about some of this?
I believe Jim Lefton, the Chief of Transit, is here. Oh, and the General Manager, Frankie Banerjee, is here as well.
Good morning. Jim Lefton, Chief of Transit, Department of Transportation. As part of the RFP evaluation process, the evaluation panel was put together to evaluate the proposals from each respondent and score each proposal accordingly. Following that process, the Department of Transportation reviewed the scores and went through the process of allocating what it recommended to be the appropriate number of cabs to each particular company. ITOA, or Independent Taxi Owners Association, was one of the top-ranked companies, as was LA Taxi and San Gabriel, Beverly Hills Cab. In going through that process of allocating cabs to companies, there were several cabs that were in excess of the amount that we had available to us, and they're therefore reallocated to the top-scored firms. They were the superiors ranking firms that were evaluated as part of our process, so there's only a handful that were left over, and we felt they should best go to the most superior, highest scored companies.
All right, so United Taxi gets 8, but it says that independent taxi owners, ITOA, doesn't get any change.
Yeah, right. The top few firms that were the most superior rated firms got a few extra. The firms that were below that point basically stayed the same, with the exception of Bell.
And Bell Cab loses 51 because?
They lose 51 in part because they're the lowest rated firm, but probably more importantly, Bell, while they have 312 authorities, they only were able to put out, as of June 1st, about 260.
I see.
Right.
So they actually lose authorities, but they really don't lose any that they already were using.
That's correct.
Okay. But Delaware Titan, which we all know as Valley Cab, is lost its franchise altogether.
Right. They were not scored very highly in Area A and were not recommended for a franchise.
Okay. The other question I had is that would you just briefly explain, because this is these A, B, C, D, and there's a map and so forth. How does the average taxi-using member of the public go about getting a cab? What has changed for them? And what should they expect in the way of service? Who do they call if they're not getting it?
Well, as of now, they'll continue to call the companies that are being recommended for franchise, but we are working independent of the refranchising process to set up a separate telephone line that they can contact the department directly with their complaints. So we are working on that component, as well as a website and brochures. So we're working on the public use end of things to improve that as well. But that's not specifically part of this refranchising process. They would continue to call the companies that are recommended, but I think they can expect superior service, which is part of the refranchising plan that Council adopted in April. There's much greater accountability that we have with regard to the taxi cab companies to make sure the service is improved.
All right. Now, how do they know what taxi services serve their area?
Well, obviously through advertising, the companies that are awarded the primary service areas will be allowed to advertise in those primary areas, so that'll be the primary means of determining.
And are they required to let people know by advertising, or that's just in their best interest financially, so they'll do it anyway?
It's in their best interest, obviously, to get the word out.
Here's my concern. In the areas that are more affluent, they do advertise. But in the areas that need home to market, which is a short trip, and a lot of cab companies aren't even really interested in those. They don't advertise, and people don't know how to find a cab. So I'm wondering if there is something we can do to insist or encourage that the advertising that they do be in the entire area of C. If you take a look at C, I know that the people in the Hollywood Hills are going to get good advertising, but I'm worried about Echo Park and Temple Beverly.
Well, we agree, and again, that comes out, I think, the benefits of the refranchising plan. We'll have, through this new technology, new computer dispatch information, we'll be able to not only look at their performance in the primary area, but break it down into sub-areas, and we'll be able to
Okay.
evaluate the performance in those sub-areas.
All right, because we still have in Echo Park and in other parts of my district, people being told that they will never get a cab when they call, that we're too busy.
Well, we're going to monitor the calls as well as the trips, so we'll be able to see whether they fall through.
Thank you.
Mr. Savarnich.
I'll close, Mr. President.
Mr. Ridley Thomas.
Mr. President, members of the council, there is one question that perhaps should be clarified by staff. We have, for a considerable length of time, been concerned about the environmental impacts that city fleets as well as private sector fleets have on the overall environment. CNG was an issue in the case of one of the bidding entities. Can you speak to that and what standards we are attempting to uphold, or where we are in that regard? Have we abandoned our pursuit of the levels of compliance that should be in place there? Perhaps it would be worth the council's consideration for you to speak to that. Mr. President, if you'd ask the sergeants to lend us an assist, maybe all of us could hear. And the audience, I know there's vested interest in the audience, but there is a certain level of decorum that ought to be adhered to. And it's all right if the lobbyists in the House take their seats. Sit them down, Mr. Curry. It's all right for them to.
They're all out there talking, and they're not.
Okay, well, I've got a few quick points on that. I believe you're referring to American Taxi, which was one of the companies that submitted a proposal. They proposed 100% CNG powered vehicles. While that was attractive to the panel, they were not scored highly in the evaluation process based on their overall management business plan. They did not respond to a number of the key issues that were required as part of the RFP. However, the RFP did require of all companies that they comply with a 5% mandate approved by council
Right.
in April. And with the AQMD recent approval of 1194, Public Rule 1194, there will be a new requirement as of 2002, January 2002, that all taxi cabs replaced after that date are ULEV or cleaners. So with that new requirement, it's somewhat moot in that all the fleet will eventually be replaced with clean fuel vehicles.
All right. We thank you. That was a question that had been posed, and I appreciate your forthright response to it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. I rise to, number one, thank the entire member of the city family that have worked so hard on this process over the course of more than a year, almost a year and a half, maybe two. This is the first time this council has been able to come to this process in more than 20 years, almost 25 years. And so I would like to commend Frankie Banerjee and Jim Lefton and the Board of Transportation Commissioners headed by Carol Newman. Thank Councilman Ridley Thomas for his diligence. And to everyone who brought this process in a fair manner, in an equitable manner, to their best of their ability to make this happen. So, Mr. President, we do have item number 3 before us as amended by 3A, and I would move approval, and upon approval, send it forthwith.
We have Mr. Holden wants to be heard now.
I want to close.
I'll just
Mr. President, will you hold my time? I want to have Ms. Shan Green walk up to the podium, and then she can speak and you can commence my
No,
time.
I'm not going to hold your time. If you don't want to talk, I'll call Ms. Goldberg.
No. Well, I'll talk.
You know the rules, Mr.
It's called the
Goldberg.
Fairness Doctrine, Mr. President.
You know the rules,
I don't want to
Mr.
spend time while she's walking.
Well, that's
But anyway,
okay.
let me ask you a few questions of you then. Maybe you know the answer.
Okay, yeah.
To the department through you. We have some ground rules or standards, a code of conduct for taxi cab operators in the city previously. Is that correct? Response time, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
All right. And in evaluating these respondents to the RFP, did you look at their record to determine whether or not they were in keeping with those guidelines that were previously established? Yes or no?
Yes.
And did you find any of them failing at all? Yes or no?
Nobody had a spotless record. Obviously, the degree to which they met the department's requirements or not was considered fully by the evaluation panel.
Did you consider some of the complaints we had previously regarding senior citizens not being able to use their vouchers because the cab companies wouldn't show it was not that beneficial? Did you consider that at all?
Yes.
Did you have a documentation to show that you're giving consideration to that concern and the numbers that are associated with it? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, then have you made that available to the council? Members of the council?
We have not been requested yet.
Well, I'm requesting it, and I'd like to have it certainly before I vote. I'd like to know all that information because I think it's pertinent and important, and then I can be in a better position to decide whether or not you came to the best conclusion when you made the recommendation that you are now making, that you are not suggesting that we approve. Is there any urgency to this, and could it wait a day or so? There's no urgency, City Attorney?
Well, there is urgency to moving forward with the new franchise awards. All current franchise expire on December 31st of this year.
Okay, so-
and
all
there
right,
needs
so-
to be at least a 31-day publication
Fine,
period
so
for
you
the
could-
new ordinances.
So we can't wait until Tuesday?
No, because it takes the city clerk 4 or 5 days to get the ordinance published, and then it's not effective until 30 days after publication.
That's okay,
So-
fine, Tuesday is fine.
No, Tuesday would be the 29th.
Oh, then tomorrow, wait until tomorrow, I want to see the documentation. Well, in that case, you're begging a no vote. I understand, Mr. Savarnich. The fact of the matter is that I got to protect the public interest also, and I don't believe in railroading anything. Until we have all the facts on the table, I'm not prepared to vote. I might very well vote for it, and I don't see anything else wrong. I just need to have the information, and there's no reason why it should be withheld. And if you want to provide that information for me, I'll be delighted to receive it at any time. And I'll make a list of other concerns that I have, and you can share that with me as well. I would say let's hold it over until tomorrow. I'm not prepared to vote on it today. Is this an ordinance? Yeah, you need a unanimous vote anyway. I'll hold it up. I'll withhold.
Okay, Ms. Goldberg, you have the floor.
Yes, the only other question I had is that there has been an ongoing controversy with the Independent Taxi Owners Association and the United Independent in terms of clauses that make it harder for there to be driver ownership of taxis.
Do we have the votes?
And I'm wondering whether or not in those franchises, whether or not we've looked at whether the clauses that we have had in the past, which makes it harder to have owner drivers, have been dealt with.
The RFP allows for either a fleet operation or an owner-operator, and we do not place any greater weight on one versus the other, and we allow either one or both. So and from our perspective, from the regulatory perspective, there is no limitation on owner-operator.
So there's nothing in the agreement between the city and the franchisee in those two cases that makes it harder for someone to be an owner-operator?
No.
I don't think so. I think the following.
In the past, when independent owner-operators changed their corporate structure, so to speak, and became co-ops and independent associations, they were not technically then eligible to have a franchise. So we granted operating permits, and the terms and conditions were slightly different, in some cases a little bit more than slightly different. This new regulatory framework puts all proposers on exactly the same footing. And indeed, most of the proposers today, rather than being fleet operators, are in fact co-ops or independent associations.
But if you're a co-op, and you own your own cab, but you don't have dispatch, and what you have to pay for dispatch is so high that it's, it reminds me a little bit of the janitor as independent contractor, if you know what I mean. And I'm wondering whether or not we've explored this issue, because what I hear on the street from some people is that the so-called driver owner is really not getting to be a driver owner, but is, in fact, needs the services of the group, and the group is charging so much that, in fact, they are becoming more like the so-called independent contractor who's a custodian. Could you comment on that?
From my perspective, let me say that the regulatory framework does not provide for those distinctions, but I am certain that the Taxi Cab Commission and the department have the regulatory authority to investigate the problem, report back, and promulgate rules and regulations to address it.
That's good, because that's anecdotal, and I'll refer them to the commission. Okay, thank you.
Hernandez.
Mr. President, members of the council, I was not at the Transportation Committee when this was finally approved. But what I wanted to state is that it's taken a long time for us to get here. I initially began by trying to legalize what were termed bandit taxi cabs, I guess back in 1992. And one of the largest co-ops was formed as a result of that. And then we found that that co-op had difficulties for a variety of reasons, most of it legal and internal. And today, some of those drivers are still driving as legitimate taxi cabs as part of another co-op, and the process has allowed for more seals, and today we're extending the number of seals so that we can have better service. Now, quite frankly, when I look at the size of the city of Los Angeles and the transportation issues facing Los Angeles, I don't think the 2,037 seals is enough. But we also have a taxi cab franchise commission now that did not exist before. And we've gone through several revisions of this RFP to try and satisfy many of the demands. And I think that half of the audience that's here today is representative of that process. Now, I just wanted to make those comments because I don't think this is perfect, but I think it's as good as we can get today. And I think that until we implement this program and we see how the competition works, we're not going to know what else we can do to make it better. And so I basically am endorsing what's before us today and to allow the process to continue. I think it's important that we recognize that more service areas have been created and more competition has been created. I disagree when they say it's an even playing field, because there is one particular cab company that's much larger than everybody else and services many more cabs than everybody else. And the reality is they've earned that right because of the investment they've made. But at the same time, I think that we have some tools in place to try and review that. So I just ask us to move ahead and see how this works. I think with the Taxi Cab Commission in place and the staff people we've added for this purpose, we'll be able to analyze it. But I also believe that at some point we're going to need more seals, and that should be our primary direction, and how we award those seals should be key.
Mr. Holden, do you want to be heard again? Mr. Cervantes closed about 10 or 15 minutes ago.
What you calling me? Oh, Mr. Arana, please. City Attorney Arana, Attorney General, come on over here, whatever your name is, your title. On my time, you make it short.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. I just wanted to make a couple of very quick points in response to the responses of City Attorney Shelley Smith to Councilman Fuhr's questions. On the matter of the existing consent decree or the consent judgment that was signed by Shelley Smith on behalf of the city in March of '96. It provides in very explicit language that the city shall not advertise for any new or additional taxi cab franchises without first having a PCNN and having specific and articulable findings with respect to the PCNN. That did not occur. Now, Ms. Smith said that if you examine the entire record over approximately, well, almost 2 years, that you will be able to extract from here and there, in terms of the entire whole, a sense of a finding. That is not a specific and articulable finding. We've discussed this with the city attorney in connection with the lawsuit that we filed, and if there was any place where there was a specific finding, that would be something that the city attorney could point to at this moment. There is no such place. As to the application of the consent judgment or the consent decree, that clearly applies because in its language, and words do have meaning, it says the city shall not advertise without first making these findings. That did not occur. What I am asking the council at this point is to put this over a week, meet with the city attorney in executive session, and carefully question whether that judgment does apply so that the city is not in violation of that judgment.
Mr. President, members, I want to support what's before us, but there is a CLIDE, it does exist, and to protect the interests of the people of the city of Los Angeles, as I announced earlier on, I would withhold. And then, of course, I don't see any other reason, if my questions are answered, not voting or supporting the recommendations before us. I will ask, in addition to my earlier request, that you have a satellite communication, I guess, with some of these taxi cab services providers, that I'm concerned about those coupons for senior citizens. I'm concerned about the response time. I'm concerned about those taxi cab providers providing the service to the nth degree according to that provided within the contract that you're offering them. It was not done before, and you're nodding your head yes, and I take your word for it. At least you're not. And I hope that you will be in compliance with that. We've asked for that previously, and it was not done. I hope that you will do it in the future. Share that information with Steve Kim and myself, and I see no reason that I would not look at it favorably next time around, unless I find something else.
Okay, Mr. Burnson?
Previous question on the entire matter.
Okay, prepare a previous question which would cut off debate. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Now we have the matter before us as amended. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes, 1 no.
That, is that an ordinance?
The ordinance will be held over 1 week for a second reading on the 28th.
Okay.
Thank you.
That goes over 1 week. Next item.
Item number 4, called special by Councilmember Ridley Thomas.
Mr. Ridley Thomas. He's Ridley Thomas, is he here or will? We can.
You're in the media room talking to the press.
Well, we'll bypass that for the time being. Next item.
This is a request by Council District 4 to continue item 22 until November 28th.
Is there any discussion on that? Ms. Goldberg, you want to continue 22?
Is that?
You want to continue?
Yeah.
Do I want to continue it? Not particularly, but if there's a need to continue it, I'm more than willing to have it
What is your
continue.
motion? You called it special.
Oh, I had some questions I wanted to ask.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. We have no one to ask at this point.
Yeah, can we continue that 1 week?
You can, absolutely.
Okay, there's,
I have a
22.
number of questions, so if you want to wait, I'd be very happy to ask them at another time.
DNC.
What do you want to do?
Mr. President, request that we continue this item 1 week, please.
All right, is there any objections to that?
No? No?
Seeing none, the matter is continued 1 week. The next item,
Item number 9 called special. I believe Councilman Burnson wished to be recused.
9.
Yes, Mr. Padilla called it special. There's 4 reports on 1 file.
Okay, 9 is before us. Mr. Fuhr called it special.
You mind if I send your motions together? You want to vote on your
I'm going
motion
to
today? Okay.
have to recuse myself on this item number 9. Mr. Savarnich?
And also accepting.
Good, we have number 9 before us, but Mr. Fuhr can't vote on it, neither can I. Mr. Burnson, is he excused too?
So you're leaving?
Yeah.
Why?
No, I don't think so. Number 9 is before.
Mr. Clerk, why don't we hold item number 9, I believe, on the desk? We're expecting Ms. Galanter in short order, and then we can take this item up. So let's hold item number 9 on the desk. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Item number 4 called special by Councilmember Ridley Thomas.
Councilman Ridley Thomas, item number 4, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. We have an amending motion that I trust that all of you are in receipt of. It would be 4A, and it essentially asks that the resources that are to be assigned to the Vermont Village project be identified by the task force working on the timeliness report, and then after having done so, the work of that report be referred to Housing and Community Redevelopment as well as CED. It is a critical matter. It has implications for the National Historic Preservation Act. It would jeopardize not only this particular project, but a number of other city projects, and it would be just simply wise for us to allocate the $300,000 pursuant to the review of the committees that I have requested, and that is the amending motion is seconded by the chair of CED, and I would trust that all would be in accord. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Ridley Thomas. We have temporarily lost a quorum. Mr. Hernandez, you are next as soon as a quorum is reinstituted. Sergeants? I believe Mr. Fuhr
And Mr. Burnson will be
or
next.
Mr. Burnson, see if they're still present. Mr. Ferraro is excused for the moment. Hold those thoughts, folks. Okay, here we go again. Chair recognizes Councilman Hernandez.
Mr. Chair, members of the council, first of all, I just wanted to explain the timeliness report was based on HUD trying to get major cities to spend their block grant. And we were one of those cities who had to look at our total block grants, particularly monies that had been sitting in accounts and not moving. And that basically is what the timeliness task force had been working on. And what you have before you is recommendations for funding, primarily of projects that are ready to move. Now, in this process, we've also created opportunities for projects to continue to move and basically move into construction phases. Most of this money is capital money for projects. And you need to understand that we're moving more projects now through block grant subsidies than we ever have before. Now, Mr. Ridley Thomas's amendment, I think, is very key because Mr. Pacheco also has a project that status has changed over the last 2 weeks. And what I want to state at this time is we're also beginning the process of dialogue for next year's block grant, and we'll continue to be looking at projects as to how they're ready to move and how we can get them funded through block grant. And so I think that we are instituting a whole new process of reviewing the movement of our block grant dollars, in particular with capital dollars, so that projects can get built, can get completed. And I think that at some point, we'll also be introducing a motion to audit several of the projects that haven't been moving, so that we could review that process, because we have projects that have been on the books for 9 years, and whenever a new pot of money is discovered, all of a sudden that project can move if it has more money. But today, I ask for unanimous support of the report that's before you. There is one amendment I have to make, and that's to basically, on recommendation number 2, where we're talking about repaying some of the monies that we took from some of the centers. I just want to add the words "subject to project readiness," which is the key word to most of our projects. If a project's ready to move, we want to be able to fund it. We want to get it moving. And we will continue to be analyzing projects that aren't moving and reprogramming dollars for that purpose. The exciting part about today, I think, is that the city is consciously looking at how to get projects completed. And it's no longer going to groundbreakings. Hopefully it's now focusing on ribbon cuttings, because that's what the community wants to see. The community wants to see projects that they can actually use. With that, I just ask for unanimous support with an amendment introduced by Mr. Ridley Thomas, subject to the change also of recommendation number 2 on that approval.
Okay, is there any other council member that wishes to be heard on this item? Okay, we do have item number 4 as amended, Mr. Clerk, correct? Okay. Mr. Ridley Thomas moves. Open the roll. Tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
That item is approved. Next item.
Item number 11, called special by Councilmember Burnson.
Mr. Burnson, item number 11.
Called special simply for the purpose of amendment to it, which I would move. It's 11A, and I would move approval. We had a full committee hearing on this, so it shouldn't be necessary.
Is there any objection to 11A? Okay, 11A will amend 11. Is there any council member that wishes to speak on item number 11 as amended by 11A? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, would you open the roll on number 11 as amended by 11A? And tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That item is approved. Next item. Forthwith on that item.
Item number 24, there's a request from Mr. Fuhrer and Mr. Farrar to be recused from this item. Did you wish to hold that on the desk?
That's connected with item 9, so maybe you want to take that up at the same time.
We need to hold both items 9 and 24 on the desk for the moment. Next item.
Item number 31B, there is an amending motion brought forth by Councilmember Ridley Thomas.
31B, Mr. Ridley Thomas, you have an amending motion. Mr. Ridley Thomas? Item 31B, you have an amending motion, which I believe is?
Mr. President, it's rather pro forma. It's essentially additional street closures pursuant to a special event.
Okay.
That were omitted on the first submission.
Okay. Is there any council member that wishes to speak on this item? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, would you open the roll and tabulate the vote?
12 ayes.
Item is approved. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Thank you, sir. Forthwith.
Forthwith on that item?
That takes care of all the specials except for items 9 and 24, which are on the desk. Do you wish to consider closed session items at this time?
Mr. Padilla, items number 9 and 24, I believe there's not an urgency on them, and we have a full council next Tuesday, and we are not expecting another council member in order that we could vote on these items. Do you have any objection that we continue this item until next Tuesday, both items 9 and 24?
That's fine. If we can leave them on the desk just for another while, to see if Councilmember Galantris...
Well, our next items are closed session.
We can take them up
But
afterwards.
we can go into closed session and hold them if you want, or continue. You want to continue to hold them on the desk?
Yes, please.
Okay, then
And,
that's what we'll do. Okay. Closed session, Mr. Clerk?
Public comment. Public comment.
Items number 38A and B are closed session items,
Okay.
as well as special meeting number 1.
You know what we could do is we could have the public comment right now in order that we do not delay anyone's departure. Let's do the public comment, and then we'll go into the closed session. I believe is it Peter or Verkayak? Go right ahead, sir. This is public comment, colleagues.
I live in a mobile home park that is being controlled.
Sir, if you'd like to pull the microphone down to your, there you go, so go right ahead, sir.
I live in a mobile home park in Eagle Rock, and according to the rent control division, there is an increase of 1% for gas and 1% for electricity. And the owner can add 3% of the property. But the amount of money that is being used for gasoline, for electricity and gas is not calculated separately from the rent that is being charged. For example, if I pay $100 rent, $70 is for utilities, that makes it $71.40. The remainder $30 is an increase of 3%. That makes the total amount of 2.3%, not 5%. I moved in 1983 in a mobile home park in Eagle Rock, and I paid $150 a month. That was reasonable. Now I pay $446, and I wonder if there is anything that can be done to change the ruling of the rent control stabilization. Even when I paid $150 in 1983 as a 5% over a period of 14 years, that means that there has been made a mistake.
Thank you, sir, very much. We appreciate for your comments. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
That closes public comment, so now is the time for requests to excuse from council attendance. Councilmember Ridley Thomas requests to be excused on December 12th for city business. This meets policy.
Okay, without objection, so ordered.
Councilmember Hernandez requests to be excused on November 22nd, tomorrow, to leave at 11:15 for city business. A motion is required.
Mr. Padilla moves and Mr. Ferraro seconds. Without objection, so ordered.
Motions for posting and referral.
Without objection, posted and referred.
Items number 9 and 24 remain on the desk, as well as closed session items 38A and B and special agenda item 1.
Okay, let us move into closed session at this time, holding 9 and 24 on the desk upon arrival of an additional council member. All persons in the audience who are not involved in the closed session, would you please excuse yourselves at this time in order that the council could go into executive session to consider items 38A and B. Open them up. Okay, we are going to be acting on executive session special meeting item number 1 first. Mr. Clerk?
Special agenda item number 1, request by the city attorney to offer $15 million in settlement of case.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, would you open the roll and tabulate the vote?
13 ayes.
That item is approved. We will now we'll now adjourn the special meeting, the executive session item number 1, and we will reconvene the regular session. Mr. Clerk?
Item number 38A, Tipton Whittington versus the city. Authorize the city attorney to expend $128,474.25 plus interest to the rate of 6.197% for cost.
Okay. Would you open the roll? Tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
That item is approved. Forthwith on that item.
Item number 38B, the state of Eduardo Hurtado versus Williams, settlement of case for $900,000.
Open the roll on this item and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes, 1 no.
That item is approved. Forthwith. Next item.
That takes care of the closed session items. Now it's time for item number 9 and 24, which have been held on the desk.
Okay, item number 9 and 24.
Do you wish to take them individually? Item number 9 has an amending motion.
I believe we'll take them individually. Forthwith on special item number 1 in the executive session also. Okay, Mr. Clerk, what do we have before us?
Item number 9, there's an amending motion by Mr. Pacheco and Padilla.
Okay. The chair recognizes Councilman Pacheco. Item number 9. Mr. Padilla, would you...
Mr. Padilla called it.
Okay, Mr. Padilla, chair recognizes Mr. Padilla. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I'll apologize in advance if I go a little bit over the 3-minute limit. But colleagues, this is the issue that has been before the council for the last about 2 years, and it began under the previous chairmanship of Councilmember Ridley Thomas when he was chair of the ITGS committee. And it's an issue commonly known as open access. And the bottom line of the issue is the specific question as to whether or not the cable companies that the city has franchise agreements with shall be required to allow their technology, allow their platform, allow their physical cable lines, their infrastructure to be utilized by internet service providers, regardless of whether or not they have a relationship with that cable company, whether it's an in-house or an affiliate or what have you. And so this has been the question not only in the city of Los Angeles, but throughout the country. One of much debate, one of much rancor, and one of much activity. And I'm sure there's not an office here in the city that was not visited by a lobbyist or a lawyer, if not both. I just wanted to give a little bit of an evolution to what's before us today. I had presented an item that was approved by the ITGS committee several months ago that would have moved the city of Los Angeles in an aggressive fashion in the direction of implementing sort of an open access policy, an open access platform for the cable companies operating in the city of Los Angeles, and in my opinion, at that time, therefore benefiting the subscribers, our constituents here in the city of Los Angeles. It was aggressive for a couple of reasons. Number one, there was some legal questions still outstanding. And number two, we were on the forefront more so than any other city in the country at that time in taking this step. Coincidentally or not coincidentally, depending on your belief system, there was a legal case that was ruled upon known as the Portland case that declared internet access over these cable lines as a telecommunication service and not a cable service. And that ruling did two things. One, by declaring it not a cable service, took it out of our hands. The city only has jurisdiction when it comes to cable companies and cable services. By declaring it a telecommunication services, it put it in the hands of those who regulate and monitor telecommunication companies. Here in California, it's the PUC. On the other hand, law here in California requires telecommunication companies to offer what we would interpret as open access. If you're dialing up the internet over your phone line, if you're accessing the internet over a DSL line, you do have this choice of internet service providers. And so the intent of the committee was to move the cable access to the internet in that direction as well. To summarize and try to make that long story short, the FCC has finally begun proceedings to have hearings to take in input and comment from interested parties throughout the country in establishing not just a local but a really national policy when it comes to broadband access. And if you hear the words DSL, if you hear the words cable modem, if you hear the words high-speed internet access, we're talking about a category of technology, a category of accessing the internet known as broadband access. So given the court ruling that it is no longer in the city's jurisdiction, but knowing that there's 500,000 cable subscribers here in the city of Los Angeles, and knowing that the FCC is now going to hold a series of hearings, I felt it finally best for us to do the following, and that is to reaffirm a position that the council took prior to my election of moving in the direction for the sake of our constituents, the sake of residents in the city of Los Angeles, to have a platform that is accessible not only to the consumers, but to the internet service providers and to all the content providers. And so the substitute resolution 9D, I believe, which is the action of the IGR committee, I move it now. And again, that action says, let's reaffirm that council position that's been taken in the past, and to the extent that the FCC will be developing a policy, the city of Los Angeles should be involved in promoting our position. So the city attorney and the CLA are here if they have any questions or additions to the way I've tried to summarize this. And colleagues, I do ask for your support. I want to recognize a couple of you for your work on this issue. Councilmember Ridley Thomas for his work as chair before I assumed chairmanship of the committee, and really setting the foundation for a lot of the research that was done on behalf of ITA. Councilmember Chick, who was a supporter in a very, very tough committee proceeding, and also Councilmember Holden, who on his consideration of this item from the intergovernmental standpoint was also a supporter and shed a lot of history on this issue and a lot of the players involved. So I want to thank him especially as well. And with that, colleagues, I ask for your support.
Thank you, Councilman. The chair recognizes Councilwoman Chick.
Yes, I rise in support and would like to return the compliment. I know that Mr. Padilla is carrying on the tradition of the prior chair of that committee in making sure that in the city of Los Angeles, the number one concern that's driving us in how we deal with cable and with open access and with the expansion of technology to ensure that it's the consumer and the public that we all serve that is the utmost priority, and that it is their interests that we have in mind driving our decision-making, and I absolutely believe that is what is the case now. I'm pleased to support this item going forward and look to our colleagues in Washington, D.C. to come up with a consistent policy that fits with what we're trying to accomplish here in Los Angeles. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. The chair recognizes Councilman Ridley Thomas.
Mr. President, members of the council, a couple of questions to the city attorney who's clocked a lot of hours on this. It would be helpful just to give us a brief insight into the policy direction in which we're headed. We understand that the FCC is contemplating taking this matter up, and this is designed to put the city of Los Angeles on record with regard to open access. You might also help us with respect to any fiscal impact that this may have favorably or unfavorably, and other ancillary issues would be useful for the council's consideration prior to our voting. Thank you.
Ed Perez, representing the Office of the City Attorney. I have prepared a report here dated October 27th, 2000, which summarizes, at least at that date and time, what our jurisdiction was over Internet access. Since that time, there was one more decision, Broward County, Florida, where the court, federal district court there held that their ordinance was unconstitutional because it violated the cable company's First Amendment rights. So we have, it looks like across the country, the courts are saying cities don't have jurisdiction to impose and regulate open access internet on the cable modem. But none of the courts have said that the FCC cannot, and in fact, several have said that's where the decision should be made. The FCC to date has decided not to get involved in the issue, feeling that the marketplace should take care of it. But he recently did open up a notice of inquiry, which is the subject of Mr. Padilla's motion, to deal with the open access issue. And depending on what the policy of this council decides, and if this council decides that open access is the way to go, then this NOI is very, very important for two reasons. Number one, we need to go on record and explain to the FCC why we think open access is the right position to take. And secondarily, but maybe also almost as important as the former, is the fiscal impact. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals held that internet service was a telecom service and not a cable service. And if that's the final conclusion after all the litigation and regulatory proceedings end, it means that the city of Los Angeles would not be able to impose a 5% franchise fee, because we could only impose it on a cable service. And I might point out something kind of interesting. In today's Communications Daily Reports, which is an industry periodical, Cox Cable has decided to come out on record and saying they will no longer pay franchise fees on internet service. The same article talks about AT&T, which is studying the issue. They have not taken a formal position, but they may likely do so. So it looks like that the franchise fee is in jeopardy.
Can you quantify the impact with respect to the franchise fees being at risk?
Well, there's various estimates on what that would do, because, are you talking about in Los Angeles or
Precisely.
Okay. At least $10 to $15 million is what we're talking about on an annual basis, and that's just an estimate. We really don't know because we don't have internet service really on a full scale in Los Angeles. So that's more of a educated guess that I've heard. But it's a lot of money. But in this NOI, that's now open before the FCC, we can argue that internet service is a cable service, and hopefully the FCC will adopt that position. And if they do, then we will be able to charge a franchisee internet service.
Thank you, Mr. Ridley Thomas.
If I can add 2 points as part of the response as well. One, a clarification, and that is, although the internet access or the internet service component of a cable subscriber's activity will not qualify for franchise fee revenue for the city, the cable television component still does.
At this point in time, it still does.
At this point in time, it still does. And second, because they have declared internet access over the cable lines as a telecommunication service, right now the cable franchise fee doesn't apply, but there is the issue of the utility users tax that does apply. And one of the other legal cases that we've been monitoring speaks to that very matter. So I'm confident that as we move forward, that element will also be addressed and that concern shall also be resolved.
Chair recognizes Councilman Pacheco.
Mr. President, colleagues, I introduced 9A because on June 23rd, when this issue first came before us, one of the observations that I made at that time was that as the internet use moves in the direction of providing live video, TV specials, or video on demand, it was going to basically offset the cable side of the service of the broadband, and we would see an increase in the fee being charged by the provider on the cable side, shifting away from the cable portion of the service to the internet portion because of this new expanded use of that pipeline. And I was concerned at the time that as that increased, the demand for the service and the market was penetrated much more largely in the community, that the income that the city relied on from the cable franchise fees would be diminishing because the portion of the fee charged to the consumer was going to be reduced in proportion to the increased use on the cable, on the internet side. So that relationship being what it was, we asked back then for the city attorney to begin an analysis with the committee report. And so I would ask that we not only approve 9, but include 9A and continue that research and work to see how we can offset that loss of revenue through the utility user tax avenue. And so I would ask for your support and move 9A as an amendment to the motion before us, because I believe that we need to look at this not only in terms of its value to the consumer, but its fiscal impacts to the city.
Mr. President. The chair recognizes Councilman Holden. Was there a second to Mr. Holden? I'll hold your time for a moment. Was there a second to Mr. Pacheco's motion? Okay. Mr. Holden, go right ahead.
You second the 9A? No adverse effect on 9?
No adverse effect.
Right. It's a power struggle. The providers of telecommunication and / cable services are fighting the cable providers. They're in a better position to do so. I think all we need to do is try and redefine what the utility service providers are providing utility service, whether it's telecommunication and or cable, then they will fall right in under our jurisdiction. If we can get the legislature to establish the fact that telecommunication providers / cable providers are in fact utilities, fall within that jurisdiction, then of course we're back where we ought to be, and that's we can assess the fee. And that's real simple. You should have a favorable legislature to do that in Sacramento. I don't think we preempted by federal law or the FCC even at this point as we discuss states' rights and how we would do it in this state. Also like to say that the opposition to the motion was, the opponents, was that don't go forward with this motion, which is a simple motion, which provides the city an opportunity to make its case before the FCC. Really, I don't see anything wrong with that. It's a previous policy that we've adopted relating to open access. So my position was, after a long, lengthy hearing, go for it. And it does not disadvantage the opponents in any way from stating their point of view, before the FCC. And I thought it was really out of character, way out of character, to come to the city council and ask the city council to oppose the motion which simply says, go to the FCC and restate your policy. It didn't make any sense to me. By us doing that, it doesn't disadvantage them at all. They got all the lawyers and lots of money, and they can go there and fight their case as they choose to do so. So we want to protect the interests of the people of this city and not put them at a disadvantage. And so we should fight on every front and use every avenue available to us to do that, including the legislature. So, Michael, we'll get some legislation drafted to get them to make that a utility service.
Thank you, Mr. Holden. The chair recognizes Mr. Padilla to close. Close.
Thank you, Mr. President. Wanted to address two things just quickly to close. I seconded Councilmember Pacheco's motion. It does not conflict or contradict with the resolution before us at all. I think it does add to it and it helps. But also, as a point of information, wanted to let everybody know that this is an issue that's currently also in committee in the context of companies that are wishing to come into Los Angeles and build competitive systems to the incumbent cable providers. So these are issues with the utility users tax, the cable franchise fees, et cetera, and where they apply and where they should be adjusted. That's currently under study, and we should be seeing recommendations come out of committee soon in the context of those new franchise agreements. And second, the urgency in acting today is because there is a December 1st deadline to begin communication with the FCC, and seeing the Thanksgiving holiday later on this week, it's important to take our action today and give the city attorney an appropriate amount of time to do their work. So with that, colleagues, I want to thank you again and urge your aye vote.
Thank you. Is there any other council member that wishes to be heard?
Adopting 9D, receiving and filing 9A, B, and C, and also receiving and filing item 24, if we're hearing them concurrently.
Okay, so that's A, B, and C would all be received and filed.
Yes. 9D as
D would be
amended,
adopted,
as amended by
as
the Pacheco
amended.
motion.
and 24 would be received and filed.
Correct.
Thank you, that's all.
Okay. And there was a second to that. Okay. Is there any other council member that wishes to speak? Okay. Mr. Clerk, would you open the roll and tabulate the vote?
10 ayes.
That item is approved. Forthwith. Okay. Next item on the agenda.
Item number 24 was received and filed in that last action, so the desk is clear, except for a request for excuse from council. Councilmember Savornich requests to be excused on December 1st for personal business. This meets policy.
Okay. All righty.
The desk is clear.
December the 1st. Next Friday, week from Friday.
Okay, we do have adjourning motions. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Chick.
Yes, colleagues, I'm sorry to tell you and ask for us our adjourning in memory of a city employee and alternate crossing guard, William Edward Hooper. I was just informed this morning was killed in a traffic accident while he was working as a crossing guard today in the San Fernando Valley.
All members.
He is survived by his fiancee, Carol Armstrong, a brother who is, as we speak, en route to Los Angeles from San Diego, and Personal Services is in the process of gathering additional information. And also, I would like to ask that we adjourn in memory of Mr. Dave Sleeger. He and his wife, Carolyn, lived in Reseda and raised their 4 sons there. They were very involved in the Reseda community and cared very much about making the neighborhood attractive to its residents and its merchants. He was a member of the Reseda Chamber of Commerce and the Reseda Kiwanis. He cared enough to volunteer, and so did Carolyn, his wife, in various beautification and community improvement projects. Dave is survived by his wife, Carolyn, and his 4 sons, Glenn, Robert, Steve, and Brian.
Mr. Fuhrer.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd ask that we adjourn in memory of Lou Warshaw. who many of us know was an exceptional leader in politics and philanthropy and business in the Jewish community. He served on everything from the Little Hoover Commission to keyboards in the Jewish community, the Jewish centers, the Music Center, one of the founders of the Music Center, and was a major force for decades in democratic politics throughout the nation, as well as on a whole slew of local issues. He was the president of the Airport Commission. There are very few things of importance during his lifetime in Los Angeles in which he was not involved. He's survived by his wife Carmen, known to many of us, as well as two daughters, Susan Robertson and Hope Warshaw, their husbands Carl Robertson and John Law, and three grandchildren. I'd also like, if we could, Mr. President, to ask us to adjourn in memory of Ziggy Ziering, who passed away recently. He was a Holocaust survivor with an incredible story. He was among a group of 1,000 kids at that point who, near the end of World War II, near the conclusion of the Holocaust, was actually a recipient of something very special. A count named Folke Bernadotte of Sweden offered to actually pay the Nazis money in exchange for 1,000 Jews. And he was one of the Jews who was able then to be transported at that point to Scandinavia, to Sweden, in order to escape being killed in the concentration camps. He came to this country and he became very quickly a noted businessman and scientist, as well as a key leader in the philanthropic community, very important to the Jewish community here. And he's also a playwright who had a production of his performed just last year. An extraordinary person, a key leader whom we miss by very many. He survived by his wife, Marilyn, and a number of two children, his son, actually 4 children, his sons Michael and Ira, his daughters Roseanne and Amy, his mother Silly, his brother Herman, and grandchildren Matthew, Sammy, Zachary, Natalie, Ava, Emma, and Hannah.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman.
I'd like to be a co-presenter on Lou Warshaw. I've known Lou and Carmen for a long time, as many others have. I'm sure Mr. Ferraro would also like to be. He's known them longer than the rest of us.
Well, I have one.
And I just want to say one of the things that I've always admired about Lou is that even when he disagreed with you, and he had no compunction whatever about letting you know if he disagreed with you, that he always managed somehow, despite all the coaching from his wife, to remain charming in disagreement. And he certainly has done more than enough for 10 people, for this whole community, and also for the Jewish communities. He sent whole art collections to Jerusalem, I believe, and he's helped endow all kinds of things here at USC, at Cedars-Sinai, and many other places throughout there. And he's just a really nice guy. I'd also like to ask that we adjourn in memory of Mary Lou Johnson, who is one of the last, was one of the last of the real Venice characters from the 60s and 50s and 60s and 70s. She lived in the canals back in the days when the canal was sort of hippie heaven, and respectable people didn't go down there very much. And she managed, somehow she was smart enough to buy a house, and she managed to stay there through generations of restoration and a total change in the community, and to keep her popularity with her neighbors, even though the current neighbors aren't a bit like her. And she also managed to stay in touch with people all over the world who were committed to peace and justice and helping the poor. And I have to tell you, the memorial service was one of the most quintessentially Venice memorial services, but it was really heartwarming. Her daughter, Johanna, is a rabbi, and she did part of the service. The next person to get up turned out to be a Buddhist nun, who Mary Lou knew from some other connection with the Buddhist community. She had young people, old people, everybody in thrall, and it's really just a terrible passing to lose Mary Lou after all this time. She died after a long struggle with cancer. She was active right to the end, and she's survived by her daughter, a daughter-in-law, and two or three grandchildren. We're going to miss her a lot.
Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, Mr. President, members of the council, I ask that we adjourn in the name of Sandra Lara Maldonado. Sandra was the cousin of our receptionist here at City Hall, Patty, and it's a reminder that our Creator has a plan for all of us, and even though we might not understand it. Sandra was 28 years old. She died of lupus. She was born and raised in Lincoln Heights, leaves her husband of 5 years and a son who was 2 years old, as well as both her parents as survivors.
Mr. Wright, I'd just like to add to Lou Warshaw and his wife, Carmen. He was very active in the Jewish community. Certainly he was active in the community as a whole. During the civil rights movement, when they were very active in politics, they took what was considered to be unpopular positions to support rights of people. They were right on point and very aggressive in that regard. So they have made their mark in more ways than one, not only just in one community, but throughout the entire state or nation in that regard. They were very outspoken, very well known. She was, of course, State Central Committee person, National Committee member, and did a lot for all of us.
Mr. Ridley Thomas?
On behalf, Mr. President, on behalf of Mr. Ferraro, he wanted all of us to acknowledge his being a co-presenter on the passing of Louis Warshaw. He wanted it to be known that Mr. Warshaw was a delegate to the 1948 Democratic Convention, appointed to the Building and Safety Commission by Mayor Paulson, and then to the Board of Airport Commissioners by Mayor Yorty. A graduate of USC, made his money in banking, insurance, and real estate. And in John Ferraro's view, a person who deserves high praise, even in his passing.
Thank you. I'd like to ask the council's indulgence to adjourn in memory of two fine gentlemen. One, my neighbor of 33 years, Jack Hernandez, who passed away the day before yesterday at the age of 82. He was a loving family man, survived by his wife Mary, son Joe and Frank, and daughter Kathy, and loving grandchildren. He was a master cabinet maker and woodworker. He was the co-owner of his business, J&F Cabinets, with his son, and was a very good neighbor for 33 years. Also, I'd like to adjourn in memory of one of my heroes, John Sanchi, teacher at San Pedro High School for 48 years. Was born in Akron, Ohio in 1917, excelled at football and wrestling, was on the Buckeyes 1939 Big Ten championship team. After graduating in 1942, John Sanchi joined the Navy. Following boot camp in Norfolk, Virginia, he was transferred to San Diego, where he trained recruits. He also played end on the 1943 San Diego Naval Academy Training Center grid team, which beat both USC and UCLA. In 1943, I married the late Mary Jane Hyatt. After his discharge in San Pedro in 1945, he signed a contract with the then Los Angeles City Schools. His assignment was football coach and science teacher at San Pedro High School. For the next 6 years, Mr. Sanchi turned out some of the best conditioned, hardest hitting teams in the history of San Pedro High School. His 1950 squad was the first Pirate team to go through the regular season undefeated and untied, and just recently, John Sanchi hosted a reunion for the 1950 team 50 years after their victory. He taught in the classroom full-time from September 1951 until he retired in June of 1993. One of the things to which a parent once mentioned is that if every student could have John Sanchi as a teacher, America would be a better country. I had the pleasure of having Mr. Sanchi as my government teacher, and when asked by the press yesterday whether or not it was Mr. Sanchi who instilled me to government service, I had to respectfully say no. He put a desire in me to one day to be a teacher. And one day I will get there, and John Sanchi will be proud. Call the roll, Mr. Clerk. Council is adjourned.